Blastoise. He has long arms. Welcome to Nintendo Nightly. My name is Michael Cuccelli, your host. And today on the show, my heart is broken. My heart is broken. Before we get into that, just to give you a little preview of what you have in store for you right here on this here video or podcast that you hit the play button on. Nintendo Nightly is a Monday through Friday podcast / YouTube show. We got a video version that's on YouTube, Facebook, all that fun stuff. And then we've got a podcast version that's available on your favorite podcast service. I don't know how that works, but people tell me that it's on podcasts. If you want to be up to date on all the Nintendo happenings, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time is about the time when I post every day. Then you want to hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into the news, though. So today, Pokken Tournament had a DLC drop on the eShop, and if for those of you who have already purchased the pack, it's just a free download for you. For me, I actually went ahead and purchased it. It is the second part of the DLC that they announced earlier. First, we got an inanimate object masquerading as a Pokemon, and now we got Blastoise, the original king of the US. Now, the other things that you'll get as part of this DLC today, you'll get a Mew and Celebi pairing as part of your DLC offerings. They give stat boosts and stuff, and you'll also get new outfits for your waifu. That's about it. So let's talk about Blastoise, really the only redeeming quality of that whole package. And just as a quick aside, $15 for 2 characters, I don't know, it seems kind of on the pricey side, but moving on. Blastoise, for a lot of people, was the first Pokemon they were ever exposed to. So me being from the US, I didn't get a green version for Pokemon. We got red and blue, and the first Pokemon I was ever exposed to on the front of the box was Blastoise. So he's a very important Pokemon to me, the starter Pokemon that I chose when I played Pokemon Blue originally. And so a lot of people, I'm sure, have had the same experience. So it's nice to see him get a spot here. He's typically shafted when it comes to Charizard and Venusaur. Pour a drink out for the homie. He's not in here either. But Blastoise, finally, after the chandelier, after the fox with the stick, after the sword we talked about, he's finally in. And I think that's awesome. He is a really interesting type of Pokemon to be in a fighting game because, as we'll talk about today, he doesn't have long limbs, at least normally. What I'll say is, starting with the positives, is that Mega Blastoise looks pretty cool. I'd never really liked the design of Mega Blastoise. It seemed a little bit over the top. It was like, we're cannons. But they actually kind of make it work here. He turns into like a gunslinger, and that's just a really strange and interesting thing for him to be doing. And he's an interesting character overall. They designed him really well to be this bulky tank who plays a little bit at a distance, but if you get up close, he's got a lot of options for countering and guarding, and some of the moves will put him into his shell. You can stay in the shell and kind of bait out the opponent to either shoot them with another blast or zoom into the air and extend your combos. So there's a lot of things that you can do with Blastoise's moveset that are really interesting, and I think he's got notable weaknesses too. He seems to be he commits a lot to the moves that he does. So while they do a lot of damage and while they have some significant range, they also have large sort of dead zones where if you're between Blastoise and his attack, then you've got a great opening to set up whatever kind of combo that you want to. And I think that, it's a cool character. He has some very notable flaws, some very notable bonuses to playing him, and it'll be interesting to see, how this shakes up the competitive community for Pokken Tournament, of which I have no part. I've barely played that game. I've barely touched it. So the footage that you're seeing behind me and in cuts, not super great at the game. Now, this is one of those episodes where you probably want to check out the video version just to see what I'm talking about, because what we're going to get into now is how long Blastoise's arms and legs are. Now, you might be asking, Michael, why does this bother you? What are you, some type of freak who's like policing how long people's arms and legs should be? Well, today I am. Because Blastoise has the weirdest looking... I mean, just look at him. Look at the comments of any video on YouTube about Blastoise with the original reveal, the recent gameplay expose they did on him. Like, he looks weird. He's got these long arms and these weird looking legs. I mean, my man looking like Gumby out here. In motion, it looks very strange. And what we thought when we just saw the pictures, like, he looks a little weird, but, you know, maybe in motion it'll look better. You know, Pokken has some pretty cool animations for their Pokemon. They're pretty crisp, pretty nice, but no, he looks so weird. He looks so weird. And I've heard the rebuttals. So you might be typing in the comments. And if you want to still, you know, hit and enter on the comments, I'd love to know what you think of the show, and of this situation. But before you type a couple things, let me just hit you with the knowledge, my boy. Blastoise doesn't need long limbs. That is point number one. I've got multiple rebuttals to this. Rebuttal number one: Blastoise doesn't need long limbs. His moves involve spinning, shooting water, headbutts, swiping with his cannon. It's strange that they made this creative choice to give him these like super long limbs, but at the same time, he only has one or two moves where he actually like throws a forward punch, like a lunging punch. And while he does have that, and it's reasonable that in a fighting game, the people who occupy that fighting game might punch, could he not have had like a stubby punch with some water on the end of it, like a little like water ball or water effect, just to kind of extend the range and make the move look a little bit cleaner anyway? I mean, when Charizard does his Dragon Claw move in the air, there's this gigantic metaphysical purple claw that appears to like make that animation happen. It's not inconceivable they could have done this with Blastoise. And the strange part is that the way that his moveset is designed, even in the game, my first argument is that it can be done. My second argument is that they did it. Most of his moves are some sort of slam, some sort of spin, some sort of shot, or you know, water spout. Like, he's got all of these moves that don't really have much to do with his limbs. Even his running animation is him sliding on water, which was a clever move because, yeah, Blastoise would probably look kind of dumb running. That's why in the recent Pokemon Origins and Pokemon Generations anime shows, they haven't like really animated Blastoise that well. But obviously it can be done. Rebuttal number two: there's a chandelier in the game. There is a literal chandelier in the game. And I don't know if you've played this game, but there is a literal chandelier, like a chandelier, you know, the one that your mom has in the dining room, the one that hangs over the Thanksgiving table and it dimly lights the meal to encourage heartfelt discussion in Thanksgiving. There's a chandelier in the game, and they make it work. I mean, they make it work. They make it work. You can just see some of the footage that I'm putting up here. Now, they make it work. No punches or kicks for the chandelier. There's a four-legged dog in the game. He can't punch or kick. He uses his weird ribbon tail to attack, and like little beams and just movements in his body. Like, he makes it work. There's an inanimate object in the form of a sword and shield in the game. That works. He's got no legs to kick. They didn't need to like make him weird little limbs. I mean, the only logical explanation for Blastoise being in Pokken like this is that Blastoise was originally supposed to be a guest character on the not-so-hit title ARMS for the Switch earlier in the Switch's release cycle, and that once they realized that ARMS wasn't really taking off, they're like, let's put the Pokemon in the Pokemon game. But let's keep his stretchy arms, just in case that's a cool mechanic. It's the only logical explanation. So I'd like someone in the audience, and let me know when you do, to start a change.org petition to shrink this boy's limbs. I mean, shrink them up. I mean, there's no reason Blastoise needs to look like Kevin Durant. There's no reason. There's no reason. But that being said, Blastoise is in the game. That's pretty cool. $15 DLC, a little bit on the expensive side, but, you know, for the first Pokemon that I ever had a relationship with, you got me, Nintendo. You got me, Tekken guys, Namco, whatever your name is. You got me. I bought it. As far as like whether the DLC is worth it for you, you have to like weigh how much you're really digging Pokken. The cool thing is that you don't have to buy the DLC to feel like you're part of the new experience, and Nintendo's done a great job of that, where other games will pressure you into getting the latest characters and latest greatest stuff and features inside of their online games. So Blastoise looking really weird aside, Pokken Tournament is still a cool game. It's cool on the Switch. Not too shabby. Not the greatest game in the world, but not too shabby. And if you're looking to pick up Pokken Tournament or some eShop credit, I got some links in the description that are Amazon affiliate links, meaning some of the commission of that sale come back to the show, and that helps the show grow. You know, I'd like to keep doing this. It's kind of hard, honestly, to do this through a Monday through Friday format, but I really do feel like that's a format that serves a lot of people well who don't have a whole lot of time to dive into this stuff and just want the nitty gritty of what's going on in Nintendo today. So that's my spiel. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video and you like the stuff that I'm trying to do on this channel, you can subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. If you're listening to the audio version, iTunes reviews really help. And if you just want to reach out to me, get in touch with the show, you can go to thebentoblock.com/Nintendo Nightly, or you can write in the comments section of whatever platform you're listening on. So thanks so much for tuning in. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be back with you on Monday for some more Nintendo Nightly.